Hi, I'm Beth Gerry. I wrote my paper on McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y. I chose this topic because it's about human behavior and what motivates people, which I find very interesting and fascinating. The nuts and bolts of it is that Theory X is a management style that assumes that most people will do the minimum to get a job done, punch the clock, go home, no more, no less, and that most people will need to be micromanaged and watched over in order to complete even that. Theory Y is more about engaging employees, and it's based on the positive correlation between a job well done and the sense of responsibility and satisfaction that an employee does from doing their job, but doing a little bit above and beyond and looking for the satisfaction and opportunities and growth in their career. My theory is that you will get more from your employees by engaging them and using Theory Y, regardless of the type of employees you might be working with. So with my research, that's what I was looking to find, that you would expect more, that you would get more from your employees by expecting buy-in rather than shoe-in. I started my research by drawing a parallel between employees being managed and Maslow's hierarchy of needs and where they might fall on that scale. This seemed like a natural connection between someone who was only interested in punching the clock versus someone who was looking for opportunities and growth. Some of the most interesting research I did here was from a woman who worked for the Massachusetts Division of Employment Security in Boston. She points out that the lower the socioeconomic needs of a person are, the lower their needs are on the scale. That makes sense, right? Higher needs are correlated with a higher level of basic needs being met early on in life, which would mean that a person lower on the scale of needs would fall more under Theory X, but a person with more basic security in life would fall more under Theory Y and would be looking for a little more out of their experiences and employment opportunities. My overall assessment of McGregor's theories is that despite the audience, you will get better performance out of people using Theory Y, because giving people the benefit of the doubt and letting them surprise you, sometimes disappoint you probably, will give you positive encouragement and will push them to raise their bar higher and give you better results out of those employees. This is observed a lot in the military where I work, where people come from all walks of life. It's pretty clear what kind of leaders really reach people and what kind of leaders are promoted for other reasons. The leaders that really reach people are definitely the kind that use Theory Y and that expect the most out of people and just have these great attitudes, these great one-liners and energy, and even if you only interact with them for a few minutes, you feel motivated to go and do your job. We spend a lot of time in the military waiting, sometimes waiting for other people to hear instructions because they were too busy talking the first time they were given, or they simply weren't paying attention. And then you have another group of people who are waiting patiently to hear their instructions so that they can get their job done and move on to the next task and continue to be productive. I'm sure it's frustrating as a manager to try to figure out which theory to use towards both groups of people. But inevitably, the managers that I see that use Theory Y still get the most out of their workers. Another study that I read was completed in Pakistan, and they talk about voluntary organizational behavior, which would fall under Theory Y. This is people who do things like clean the break room or offer to edit something for a coworker before it goes to the boss, even when it's not in their job description. The conclusion of the study was that an organization actually hasn't reached its true success until it sees this type of behavior from employees. Now, what I think is great about this is that there's actually been less research done on theory Y than there has on theory X. But this is a study that aligns with theory Y without specifically being about theory Y. Organizational behavior that demonstrates people using their will towards positive behavior and encouragement and setting a great example for other people would fall under theory Y and the type of management style theory Y would use. The conclusion is that McGregor's work was completed 50 years ago, but it's still a work in progress. It's still considered inconclusive. There are still many arguments towards each theory, and it can be taken on a case-by-case basis. But the type of manager that we end up being is not up to the employees we're working with, but up to us. So personally, I always feel that positive encouragement and a good attitude is what makes a great leader. And I did have this wonderful leader in the military once who said, life is about when you get handed a sandwich. Those are the moments that define you, is when things don't go well. You get a less than great deal and you still manage to put it together. So I feel like management goes that way too. You might have a less than ideal work group of employees, but if you can pull them together, that's what really defines you. Not just when you're managing great employees or great students, when you can mold people and influence them. Thank you for your comments and thank you for watching my video.